Today we're gonna look at Magic the Gathering cards that are gonna help your opponents. That's right, this is a group hug card deck. I mean, show. But you can make a deck out of these cards. I'm gonna start off with like the most unhinged thing I've ever seen, which is Indentured Djinn. It is a blue, one generic, 4/4 flying creature. But when it comes into play, each other player may draw up to 3 cards. That is like a 0 mana Ancestor Recall for everybody else except you. That is, I mean, if your opponent were struggling on cards, they're not struggling anymore. I mean, they're basically card rich after the Indentured Djinn enters the battlefield. All right, let's look at, Tommy said in show and tell. You know, this is definitely one of those cards that you expect it's gonna help you, but it never does. It always helps someone else a little bit more. It's a blue 2 generic source where each player may put an artifact, creature, enchantment, or a land card from their hand onto the battlefield. And usually you do not have, like, if you think you have the best thing, but your opponent, if you have anything that's gonna threaten your opponents, they're definitely gonna have an answer to it. There's always a bigger creature out there, or an enchantment, or a land, or Bolas's Citadel. You thought you put a Kozilek in play, and your opponent plays Bolas's Citadel, and then all of a sudden, it's game over. We got a super chat from Alphanerd. Thank you very much for the super chat. Howling Mine. Yeah, you want cards? Have all the cards you want. It's a 2 mana artifact. At the beginning of each player's draw step, if Howling Mine is untapped, that player draws an additional card. Especially particularly good, or it definitely helps your opponents, because guess whose upkeep's gonna happen first? Well, guess what? It's not gonna be yours. It's gonna be theirs. Everyone gets to draw a card before you get to draw a card. Assuming it's untapped. Assuming it's untapped. If you could make this. If you combine this with Urza or something, you could tap it for mana and make sure nobody draws cards. So there is a world where it's not gonna help anyone except you. But yeah, it's a card that helps them more than you. Emerald Crowley with Tempting Worm is show and tell for only your opponents? Is it? Oh yeah, that's right. These cards really backfire on you. It's a green 1 generic 5/5, so it's even cheaper than show and tell. When it comes into play, each opponent may put any... What? No, this is not show and tell. This is Hypergenesis. May put any number of artifact, creatures, enchantments, or land cards from their hand into play. That is... Yeah, okay, everyone. You wanna dump your hand and see what happens? Go for it. I will say, like, what are the odds anyone attacks you after you play a Tempting Worm? Probably 0%, because everyone else is the largest danger at the table. We've all been there, where you have nothing in play, so it's not even worth attacking you, because you have to use the resources to kill someone that's much more likely to kill you. So they all fight each other, and then in the end, I don't know, they blow up all the resources, and you're the only one with stuff in hand. I can't promise it's gonna work out that way. I can't promise. Especially if your deck still contains a bunch of cards to help your opponent more than anything. Beanpot with the Hunted Dragon. Hunted. Is it really that bad? Okay, we got a red 3 generic 6/6 flying haster, but enters the battlefield. Target opponent. Only one of them creates 3 2/2 white knight creature tokens with first strike, but not reach. These knights are useless. Look, like they think they have any chance versus this dragon. They're on the damn road. The dragon just fly away anywhere it wants. Anyway, it's gonna help one. It's definitely gonna help at least one opponent. All right, next super chat we got from Rated Lex. Everybody lives, because I don't want you to lose. Is that what it's called? Everybody lives? Is that a card? Everybody lives. White 1 generic instant. All creatures gain hexproof and indestructible until end of turn. Players can't gain hexproof until end of turn. Players can't lose life this turn, and players can't lose the game or win the game this turn. Now, it does have some use. If you can't win the game, it prevents people from winning the game that turn. So, no, Thassa's Oracle. Don't you dare. You better leave at least 1 card left in your deck, or it's not going to work the way you think it's going to work. And then outside of that, yeah, it saves everybody from completely getting blown up. All right, next we got from Pollyanna. Oh, the Hunted Wumpus. I'm a huge fan of Hunted Wumpus. It is, because this is from Masks block, right? And this is a throwback. It's an oldie. Well, he got shot by a dart. Okay, we have a green 3 generic 6/6 comes into play. Each other player may put a creature card from their hand into play under their control. There's a lot of show and tell like cards around here. You got a 6/6 Hunted Wumpus. They get. Imagine you play Hunted Wumpus and your opponent plays Hunted Dragon. Or, like, I don't know, another one of these hunted cards. People get to put, like, creatures into play. Then all of a sudden, everyone got to put something into play. Next up, we got from Jack Torborg. My favorite card on the planet is Spell Shift. Hold on, I mean, don't use... No, that doesn't work. Get out of here. That has nothing to do with the show. Just stick to the show. Okay, Toilet Duck with Sky Swallower. Yes, not the Simic Sky Swallower. We've seen this one many times on the show. 5 mana, 8/8, flying. Comes into play, target opponent gains control of all other permanents you control. But why? But why would we want to do that? But would you trade the world for such a pet? Did you destroy it all? Yes. What did it cost? Well, it cost me everything. It cost everything I own. I don't even know what the flavor is to this damn thing. It's a flavorless card. Okay, Alpha Nerd with Forced Fruition. Fruition. You like cards? Have all the cards in the world. A blue 4 generic enchantment. Whenever an opponent plays a spell, that player draws 7 cards. This is where you wish you had a 300 card deck, just so that you wouldn't actually, like, deck yourself. Do people usually... Is this like a real win condition? Do people lose when this card enters the battlefield? I'm just thinking. Like, that's a lot of cards. Like, you can play at most 10 cards in the game and then that's it. This is chaos, as far as I'm concerned. Bulky with Allure of the Unknown. Lure the Unknown is a red-black 3 generic sorcery. Reveal the top 6 cards of your library. An opponent exiles a non-land card from among them, and you put the rest into your hand. The opponent may cast the exiled card without paying its mana cost. Oh, well, that is very nice of you, Bulky. It is very, very nice. You gave them 1 card, and you got the rest? You get the rest. That's 5 mana for 5 cards. Is that how many? Yeah, you got 5 cards? I don't feel like you helped the opponents a whole lot more than you helped yourself. I think you helped yourself a little bit more than your opponents. Force Fruition is disgusting in Nekusar. I don't even know what a Nekusar is. It's Commander, isn't it? This is where all the Commander players just cringe. Nikachu doesn't know what Nekusar is? What is going on here? Force Fruition. Whoa! Now that's a combo. That's a bad combo that actually works, if you ask me. Okay, next up, we've got Evan with Braids, Conjure Adept. I like this card. I don't like playing it because of the consequences, but it is a blue 2 generic 2/2 human wizard. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player may put an artifact, creature, or land card from their hand onto the battlefield. It is the opposite of the black Braids. Instead of sacrificing, you put into play. But it's every single turn. It's like show and tell. You get a show and tell, you get a show and tell, everyone gets a show and tell. You play Hunted Wumpus, I play Braids Conjure Adept. And then the chain continues. Alright, we got Alpha Nerd. Abyssal Persecutor. Abyssal Persecutor. 4 mana, 6/6. Flying Trample, you can't win the game, and your opponents can't lose the game. That's very nice of you. You're all guaranteed not to lose. And you can win. Yeah, this is so weird. I can't win, but I can lose. They can't lose, but they can win. This card is meant to just not be on the battlefield for that long. It has an expiry date attached to it. Otherwise, you're not going to win the game. Okay. Canty with Burning... I don't know, spell burning here. Burning Cinder... Fury of Crow. This is not a real card. Everybody helps everybody. Okay, it's a 4 mana. Whenever a player taps a card, that player gives control of that card to an opponent at end of turn. If a player does not tap any non-land card during their turn, Burning Cinder Fury of Crimson Chaos deals 3 damage to that player at end of turn. Oh, so you really have to get rid of your stuff. It's like a game of hot potato. Everyone's got to divvy up their cards every single turn. Tap all those lands, tap the creatures, give them away! And then as people send you more stuff, you got to give them away as well. Moving on, we got Kegel Flame, Force Mage Advocate. It is a green 1 generic 2/1 with tap, return target card in an opponent's graveyard to their hand. Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. What the hell is the point of this card? But the cool thing is it is return target card. So if you need to return something of value, I don't know, sweeper, tutor, to answer somebody else at the table, I guess it works like that. It is effectively a repeatable regrowth? That's really strong. That's incredibly strong, in fact. Our unity reviews our strength. Strength it is. It's funny, you get a regrowth, I get a +1/+1 counter on my creature. That's a fair deal. Said nobody. Okay, Shane. What do you got for us, Shane? Share the spoils. Oh, this is the looting. This is like the looting the dead person card. Red 1 generic enchantment. When Share the Spoils enters the battlefield or an opponent loses the game, exile the top card of each player's library. During each player's turn, that player may play a land or cast a spell from among the cards exiled with Share the Spoils, and they may spend mana as though they were mana of any color to cast the spell. When they do, exile the top card of their library. What's the point of exiling the top card of their library again? That sounds completely unnecessary. Polrog, how about Alurin? Yeah. How about Alurin? Alurin, green, 2 generic enchantment. Any player may play creature cards with converted mana cost 3 or less without paying their mana cost, and as though they had flash. Are you a little bit down on mana? Your hand clunky with creatures? Well, we got Alurin for you. You can play any of them for free. Nothing. Free is a good price. And at flash speed. Okay, we got King Ginger with Kineios. I have no idea this is. And Tiro of Milites. It is a Blacklist Wooburg, 2/8 human soldier. At the beginning of your end step, draw a card. Each player may put a land card from their hand onto the battlefield. Then each player who didn't draws a card. You may ramp, and if you don't ramp, you cash in. The choice is yours. Look what we fought for. Look what we built together. We're going to build the board, and we're going to all build it together. Everyone's going to have a big board. Will Anderson says, EDH as a format is janky and bad. The commander set cards have no place in Legacy. Well, that's a Legacy problem. Legacy wants to be an eternal format, a non-rotating eternal format. You be careful what you wish for. As a result, you get everything. you get everything, including the true name nemesises and the what's it called, the stupid adventure cards. Boy, do I hate is it adventure? No, initiative. I do hate the initiative cards in Legacy. Group hugs and mana for all. Rainbow Veil from Toads. That's a land, isn't it? Rainbow Veil, tap, add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. An opponent gains control of Rainbow Veil at end of turn. Here, my friend, take some mana. And with that mana, cast your greatest spell. What, has anyone ever played, like, 4-player group hug? Like, what the hell does that game look like? Everybody just helping everybody cast stuff. And, like, I don't even know if the game can even end. Does anyone have a win condition? Anybody? Is this just going to come down to who gets decked first? Can we get a forced fruition on this battlefield so we can end the game around here? Next super chat coming from Alpha Nerd. The Cybernetica Data Smith. It is a black-blue 1 generic 0/1 robot human artificer. Field reprogramming, blue tap. Target player draws a card. Another target player creates a 4/4 colorless robot artifact creature token with this creature can't block. This literally doesn't help you at all. That's funny. This card actually has no point except to help other people. It is there. It is a support card of all support cards. Engaging Protector Protocol. His flavor is on point, that's for sure. Would Forbidden Orchard work? Yeah, but it's lame. Forbidden Orchard. Honestly, anyone who's playing Forbidden Orchard almost explicitly is not trying to help you. Tap, add 1 mana of any color. However, when you tap Forbidden Orchard, your opponent gets a 1/1. Only one opponent gets a 1/1 colorless spirit creature token. Card is not meant to help. That is danger, okay? That's spirit at danger. You should have said no to the spirit. You didn't want it. Marilyn of the Morn Song. Black, 1 generic, 2/3 elf wizard. Players can't draw cards, but at the beginning of each player's draw step, that player loses 3 life, looks through their library for a card, puts it directly into their hand. Tutors for everybody. You don't have lands, go get your lands. You don't have your spells, go get your spells. Get everything exactly on curve. Okay, we got the Big Apple Gate. Coveted Jewel. Oh yeah, Coveted Jewel. That card is bananas. Okay, it's a 6 mana, enters the battlefield, draws 3 cards. You have tap for 3 mana of any one color. And whenever one or more creatures an opponent controls attack, and you aren't attack you and aren't blocked, the player draws 3 cards and gains control of Coveted Jewel. That is just completely wild. I just have to attack you, and it's as good as Ancestral Recall. Unfortunately, it's not multiple creatures get to draw for each attack. It's only 1. But like, hey, I'm not going to complain. I'm not going to complain for 1. Oh, Mr. Deadhead's a lifeline. 5 mana. Whenever a creature is put into a graveyard and a creature is in play, return that creature card from your graveyard to play at end of turn. Hold on. Whenever a creature is put into a graveyard and a creature is in play, return that creature from your graveyard to play at end of turn. How does this help other people? This seems to just help you. Or was it errated to say everybody? Whenever a creature dies, if another creature is on the battlefield, return the first card to the battlefield under its owner's control at the beginning of the next turn. Oh, it was errated! Magic cards that do not say what they do. Because it specifically says return that creature from your graveyard to play at end of turn, as if it's only counting your cards, but the errata says everybody. Oh, cool. Okay, very cool. You would never know that unless you saw the errata. It works. Pretty cool card. Ectopic Eye with a Humble Defector. Defect away. It is a red 1. It is a red 1 generic 2/1 human rogue. Tap. Draw 2 cards. Target opponent gains control of Humble Defector. Activate only during your turn. Everyone, you know the problem with cards like this? You could just pass it back and forth to the same 2 people over and over again. Hey, come on, let's help each other out around here. And, yeah, we'll beat up on these other 2 people. That's the politics of Commander. That's the politics. Almost thought this was an AI stream off of the last one. It's possible. Yeah, you never know. Remember, the AI is building cards completely off of the nonsense of Magic's past. Totally played the card wrong as a kid. I don't blame you. I don't know how you would play that card any other way. Technically with Ancestral Recall, you can help your opponent. That is true, actually. True story. Yeah, Ancestral Recall. Target player draws 3 cards. Here, we can even put that in the show. Not explicitly helping the player, but it doesn't say that you're drawing 3 cards. Anybody could end up drawing those 3 cards. Okay, next super chat we've got from Platonic Liquid, the Pendant of Prosperity. Prosper you will. 3 mana artifact. Was this new? Not really. Came from 2019. Enters the battlefield under the control of an opponent of your choice. I choose you. 2 mana tap. Draw a card. Then you may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. Pendant of Prosperity. Prosperity's owner draws a card. That's you! Or that's me! draws a card, and then that player may put a land card from their hand onto the battlefield. Ah, I see. You draw cards, ramp up. I also draw cards and ramp up. Come on, that's the deal around here, all right? I'm giving it to you for that reason. Cooperate around here. Or I'm never going to give you the Pendant of Prosperity ever again in the future. What? Talatar with Stuffy Doll choosing yourself. That is the weirdest thing I've ever heard on this show. 5 mana, 0/1, indestructible. Imagine that, Stuffy Doll on the stack, and everyone's like, oh my god, Stuffy Doll, oh god, please don't choose me. And then enters the battlefield, and you choose yourself. Whenever Stuffy Doll is dealt damage, it deals that much damage to the chosen player. This is just reverse pariah or something. Yeah, that's absolutely funny. Yeah, cards meant to help your opponent. I mean, in that way, yeah, that works. That could be another show. Good MTG cards that you could use to help your opponents. All right, next up we have a super chat from Bryce with the Hive Mind. In theory, that can help your opponent. In theory. In practice, usually they die. Okay, we have a blue 5 generic enchantment. Whenever a player casts an instant or sorcery spell, each other player copies that spell. Each of those players may choose new targets for the copy. We all get Ancestral Recall. There we go. Use it however you want. Except, unfortunately, it's banned. It's too bad. This is true, Grove, but this is a bit lame, to be honest. Grove of the Burned Willows. It's a dual land. It's a taiga, but if you tap it for color mana, your opponent gains some life. Sorry, each opponent gains 1 life. Don't make sure it doesn't get out of control. You'll never win. We got Blaine with the Scheming Symmetry. One black sorcery. Choose 2 target players. Oh wow, they doesn't need to be yourself. Could be 2 completely different people on the board at the table. Each of them searches their library for a card, then shuffles their library and puts their card on top. I always thought it was like you plus another target player, but it's actually any 2 players. Use Scheming Symmetry for good. Next up, we've got Ali with a super chat. Donate to Iris with Feldegriff. Where is Iris? I'm assuming this is Iris's card. The Feldegriff. Where's Iris around here with a different card? I don't know. I'm gonna trust this is Iris's card. Okay, blue, white, green, 1 generic for a 4/4. Gains trample until end of turn. And target opponent gets a 1/1 green hippopotamus creature token. Pay a white. And target opponent gains 2 life. It feels like it's doing 2 things at once. And you could stack that. Like, if you need to... That is a very interesting ability. This thing stacks. So for each white, you can give your opponent, like, a ton of life. If you have infinite white mana, you might as well give somebody infinite life at the table. Pay a blue. Return Feldegriff to its owner's hand. Target opponent may draw a card. I'm wondering, does that no, yeah, that can stack too. I think you can put this... If I'm not mistaken, can we not put 1,000,000 of these on the stack? I'm just uncertain if I have to return the Feldegriff back to my hand for an opponent to draw a card. I'm just wondering if I can, like, empty, like, 7 mana into this thing and, like, I'll return the Feldegriff once, but then each one will resolve and someone's gonna draw a ton of cards off of this thing. You don't even need to stack? Okay. No, well, this one the last one you need to stack. Otherwise, the thing is not even on the table. Don't do it one at a time. This is a crazy group hug commander that does have some lethal implications. Lethal, you say? You see, so it can backfire on somebody. The ability is on the stack. Okay, cool. Yeah, the colon is over here. It's all about the colon. All right, Ryan Seth with Wedding Ring. In death do we part. White, white, 2 generic artifact. When Wedding Ring enters the battlefield, if it was cast, target opponent creates a token that's a copy of it. Whenever an opponent who controls an artifact named Wedding Ring draws a card during their turn, you draw a card. Oh, so it's like we both draw a card. Whenever an opponent who controls an artifact named Wedding Ring gains life during their turn, you gain that much life. So basically, it's the same thing. I draw a card, they draw a card. They gain life, I gain life, and vice versa. And Iris is like, I'm not there for the infinite combo. I just think it's cute. You know, I can get behind that. I actually got into this game because of a cute card. The Thieving Magpie, the original Thieving Magpie from Destiny. It's a very cute looking card. The other Thieving Magpies look terrible. Assault Suit from Christopher B. You're gonna assault someone in that suit. What is going on? He's got like a chainsaw for a hand. 4-mana equipment. Creature gets +2/+2. It has haste. Can't attack you or planeswalkers you control and can't be sacrificed. At the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, you may have that player gain control of the equipped creature until end of turn. If you do, untap it. So like, hey, you're helping your opponent, but under the clause, like, hey, you're not going to attack me. Don't you dare send that thing my way. Emerald says, Thieving Magpie gives me life. Gives me life as well. I played that strictly worst card over Ophidian for years. When's the next custom card stream? It happens every second Wednesday. So not this Wednesday, the Wednesday after that. We got Mulk. Sorry, there's 3 Mulks in there. Wallet Shards. The more the merrier. We got a white 1 generic 1/8 flying defender with cumulative upkeep. An opponent gains a life. Oh my god. So it's like never gonna go anywhere. Like, why would you not want to pay for this thing? This card sucks. It's just a 1/8 that gives basically someone exponential life gain. Alright, it's interesting. I'm wondering, is there any way in competitive Magic that can... It is not a bad creature. I'm just trying to think, how can my opponent suffer for having a ton of life? I have no idea. Like, it's an incredible blocker. It blocks everything. Hell, it can block a Murktide pretty well. Yeah, big group hug. Who hasn't got a card yet? Larry Law with Temporal Cascade. Blue 5 generic sorcery. Wow, Cascade card that doesn't actually cascade. That sounds like a flavor fail to me. Each player shuffles his or her hand and graveyard into his or her library, or each player draws 7 cards. Oh my god! Hold on, we can either lose all our hands or gain a hand? That's what it's going... Oh, and you have Entwine. Choose both if you pay the Entwine cost. Each player shuffles their hand and graveyard into their library. I see. So, but once you have 7 mana out, everyone's like expelled their hand. That's actually not entirely true. Like, late in a Commander game, maybe one person has a handful of cards. Maybe the Ristic Study player. They'll even ask you, when you play Temporal Cascade, you're going to pay the one? Well, guess what? It doesn't matter, buddy. Because we're shuffling everything back into the deck. And we're redrawing for a new hand. Next up, we've got... Oh, Arcane Denial is interesting. Blue does it right. It's a blue 1 generic. Counter target spell. Its controller may draw up to 2 cards at the beginning of the next turn's upkeep. So, I countered your spell. But in exchange, you can have 2 cards more than the first card that you tried to play. And then we also get to draw a card at the beginning of our upkeep. It's like a weird remand. Very weird. Dawson. We've got Gore Moldrak. What the hell is this guy? It's in the swamp. Okay, it's a blue-green, 1 generic, 3/2 human scout. Scouting for seashells by the seashore. You and permanents you control have protection from salamanders. I can't even name a single salamander in this game that would endanger me. At the beginning of your end step, each player who controls the fewest creatures creates a 4/3 blue salamander warrior creature. Oh, you're making the salamanders. Whoever controls the fewest creatures. What if it's tied? I guess they both get 1. Oh no, yeah, it's each player. Okay, so if 2 players have less, then it's over. Or sorry, if they have less, then they get the discount. All right, we're going to look at more cards that help your opponents. But if you want to buy such cards, you know where to get them from. You get them from FusionGamingOnline.com. What is the deal? I think there is some sort of... There's something. Okay, we got the Cyber Monday. That's today. So if it's Tuesday, might be over. 20% off store-wide free shipping. Oh, that's a good deal. I like the free shipping, especially since it comes from, what's it called? It comes from Canada. Those are Canadian prices that you see on FusionGamingOnline.com. And I don't think this coupon code will work when it's 20% off. That's a pretty good deal. But if there isn't 20% off, you can still get a discount by using coupon code Nikachu at checkout. 5% off all your purchases. We're also going to thank Mana Traders, the premier place for renting Magic cards online. For Magic the Gathering online. You can support the channel renting and playing any deck you want using coupon code Nikachu_R4Z for 10% off your first 2 months. And now back to these weirdo cards that help the opponents more than you. Ideally helping the opponents more than you. An offer you can't refuse is pretty good too. Honestly, I don't think this is really helping the opponents all that much. I think most of the people you're going to use this card against are like, I would rather my spell resolved. It's just a blue instant. Counter target non-creature spell. Its controller creates 2 treasure tokens. Oh, wait a minute. There's a new one, right? I think this is so cute. This is unbelievably amazing. I have a foil one of these. Apparently, it's really expensive because I made the top 8 of one of those RCQ tournaments. They gave me a foil, an offer you can't refuse. It's adorable. I got a playmat of this cat, too. I'm going to take that. It was like my trophy for winning first place in that event. Okay, next super chat. We go to the Big Apple Gate with some big cards. The Zur's Weirding. That's an enchantment card, isn't it? Okay, we got a blue 3 generic enchantment. Players play with their hands revealed. Everyone knows what everyone's got. If a player would draw a card, they reveal it instead. Then any player may pay 2 life. If the player does, put that card into its owner's graveyard. Other way, the player draws a card. I don't think that helps, to be honest. It really feels like it helps everybody else. I'm actually going to disqualify that. We're going to donate your super chat, though. Your super chat won't go unused. Oath of Druids? Are you serious? Does anyone use this to help other people? It's an Oath of Druids, green 1 generic. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player chooses target player who controls more creatures than they do. How is it? What is it? Target player who controls more creatures than he or she does and is his or her opponent. The first player may reveal cards from the top of their library until they reveal a creature card. If they do, that player puts that card onto the battlefield and all other cards revealed this way into their graveyard. I have never seen anyone use this card to help their opponent. Just saying. In theory, it could work like that. Generous gift. Has that been named? No. I don't know if it's so generous, to be honest. We got a white 2 generic instant. Destroy target permanent. Its controller creates a 3/3 green elephant creature token. Okay, we got Alpha Nerd is back with the Mana Flare. Did we look at this one? Either that or we saw it just recently on another show. Okay, we have a red 2 generic enchantment. Whenever a player taps a land for mana, that player adds 1 mana of that type to their mana pool. Anyone need mana? Anyone short on mana? Don't worry, there's going to be no shortage of mana so long as the Mana Flare is here. Okay, next up we've got... Who got nothing? I don't think Hoxton got one. Exhume. Ooh. In theory, that can help people, can't it? Okay, what's in everyone's graveyard? Alright, that's good. If you got something dangerous, you got something dangerous, you got something dangerous. That's good enough for me. Black 1 generic sorcery. Each player puts a creature card from their graveyard onto the battlefield. Everyone gonna get something. Stranger Candy with a Hunted Nightmare. It's always the hunted stuff that helps opponents, isn't it? They're hunted. Who are they getting hunted by? Whatever you give them. 3 mana, 4/3 menace. Sorry, 4/5 menace. Whenever Hunted Nightmare enters the battlefield, target opponent puts a death touch counter on a creature they control. What if they have no creature? I don't think this helps the opponent at all. I think that helps you. And it has menace, so you still need a second creature to block this thing. I'm just going to move on to another super chat. Alpha Nerd has another super chat, and it is balance can help opponents. Does this really help opponents? Like, really? Explain to me. Each player chooses a number of lands they control equal to the number of lands controlled by the player who controls the fewest, then sacks the rest. Players discard cards and sacrifice creatures the same way. Feels like this hurts everybody equally. This is not helping. What is with these super chats now? These are not helpful super chats. Is this really a group hug effect? I don't think so. Okay, we're going to go with Handsome Devil. We're going to donate the super chat to Handsome Devil. Jace Beller, the OG. The one that started it all. You see, Jace was a good guy. Jace wanted to help everybody. Protect everyone from card draw drought. Because for a blue 1 generic, +2, each player draws a card. Jace was looking out for the little guy. Also, for -1, target player draws a card. But Jace is stronger when he's helping everybody out. He feels bad when he's getting greedy. That was the way of Jace Bellerin. He looks like a villain, to be honest. I mean, if you saw this picture, would you guess that this was a good guy? Looks like someone who joined the dark side and is enchanted with the dark powers. All right, let's get another freebie out here. Oh, the Wish Claw Talisman. Yeah, Wish Claw. Black 1 generic artifact. Enters the battlefield with 3 wish counters on it. Pay 1 tap, remove a wish counter, search your library for a card, put it in your hand, and an opponent gains control of this thing. You can only activate it on your turn. I have actually used, in competitive play, I've used this card to kill my opponent. I searched for a card that I needed to beat them with. I'm like, okay, I'm going to look up this card. I think it was Null Rod. I looked up Null Rod, and I knew it was going to screw my opponent. And on top of that, it screwed their Wish Claw Talisman. You be careful what you wish for. You be careful. Sometimes it does help your opponent more than it helps you. Next super chat from Goysier HD. Sky Swallower. Sorry if already done, just joined. We did do the Sky Swallower, but that's okay. We are donating your super chat to Arcanus. Arcanus, move very quickly. Eater of Days. I can't remember if we did that one. We did not. This is my brother's favorite card. Flying Trample, well, one of his favorites. Flying Trample. When Eater of Days comes into play, you skip your next 2 turns. It's like, but it's a 9/8 flying with Trample. How could this go wrong? How could this go wrong? You skip your next 2 turns. That's like, so effectively, does that feel like it gives everybody else 2 turns? I guess so. It's a weird way of saying everyone else gets 2 turns. Okay, we got Verm. Loves the Keen Duelist. Duel. It's time to duel. Black 1 generic 2/2 human wizard. At the beginning of your upkeep, you and target opponent each reveal the top card of your library. You each lose life equal to the mana value of the card revealed by the other player. What's the upside to this thing? But you each put the... Oh, you each get it. Okay, so it's like Dark Confidant. It's Dark Confidant for 2 people. If your hand is empty and your graveyard is full, Time Spiral is for you. But it can be for everybody. It can be for everybody. Blue 4 generic. Remove Time Spiral from the game. Each player shuffles their hand and graveyard into their library. They draw 7 cards. It's like Time Twister. I always look at Time Twister like a group hug card. Okay, we got Pacers Fan Forever with the Questing Feldegriff. It is a Bant 1 generic for a 4/4 Feldegriff. Pay a green. It gets +1/+1 until end of turn. Target opponent gets a green hippo creature token. Is this the same thing? No, it's similar, but it's different. This is the Questing Feldegriff. What was the last one we looked at? Was it just Feldegriff? Okay, so, and this is the same thing. It's like a white, but instead it gains protection from black and red, and target opponent gains 2 life. Again, you can give someone infinite mana. Is it legendary? This one's not legendary. And pay a blue. So the value of the Feldegriff is that it's legendary? That is just weird. So this one's not legendary. And pay a blue. Gains flying until end of turn. Target opponent may draw a card. That is clearly infinite card draw for people. This card is busted. You have infinite blue mana. You can make somebody draw their entire deck. That's a win condition. If you have infinite mana, you win the game. And I guess you could do the same thing with the last one. Wow, infinite mana plus questing Feldegriff. You guys all draw your cards. Draw them decks. You heard of mill? Well, I don't play mill. I call this card draw. You draw yourself to death. It's a May? Oh, damn it. They may draw a card. Oh, the last one. Hold on, let's look at the other Feldegriff. No. Or what? Hold on. What was the other card called? I think it was Feldegriff. Yeah, it was Feldegriff. Target opponent. Damn it! No! They screwed up my combo. All right. Coffee Crew saves the day. Also saves me from other people in the comments section telling me I can't read the cards. But you're right. Hey, I'm reading the cards properly. It's the interpretation that's a problem. The interpretation is always the problem. Platonic Liquid with the Master of Cruelties. Sorry, no, oh, sorry. I thought it was Master. This is where I didn't read the card. Master of Ceremonies. I can't read or interpret the cards. White 3 generic for a 3/4 Rhino Druid. At the beginning of your upkeep, each opponent chooses money, friends, or secrets. For each player who chooses a money, you and that player each create a treasure token. For each player that chooses friends, you and that player create a 1/1 green, white, and white citizen creature token. And for each player who chooses secrets, you and that player each draw a card. I don't know when anyone wants the citizen token. That's like the crappiest of all the crap. That's for sure. Feldegriff is an anagram for Richard Garfield. That is true. That is absolutely true. One with nothing does not help your opponents all that much. Not really. Okay, let's look at Dan Trance. Target opponent may lose the game. Oh, you mean... Oh, yeah, that's right, for the Feldegriff. They may lose the game, or they may keep 5 cards in their deck, and they may win the game. Let's look at someone who foresees Truce. The Truce. We have a white 2 generic. Instant. Each player may draw up to 2 cards. For each card less than 2, any player draws, that player gains 2 life. Pass the card. Each player... So each card less than 2, any player draws, that player gains 2. Oh, so you can choose to draw, or you could choose to gain life. Back then, when I think they grossly overrated life gain back then. This is in Homelands. Why the hell would anyone want to gain any life for whatever reason? That would be the... I mean, if you're at like 1 life, maybe. Otherwise... It's like a sign that you're a huge chump if you choose to gain the life. Josh Karen, my favorite. Forced Fruition. We did Forced Fruition because it is too popular. Everyone loves Forced Fruition, so we're going to donate your super chat to Tomson TM. I guess that means trademark. Var Child's War Riders. We have a red 1 generic 3/4 cumulative upkeep. Put a 1/1 red survivor creature token into play under an opponent's control. That's going to get out of hand. It's got Trample and Rampage 1. You're not going to trample over anything when you start giving like 5, 6, 7 of these stupid survivor creature tokens under your opponent's control. That's just wild. And next up we got Michelon's Well of Knowledge. Knowledge! 3-mana artifact. Any player may pay 2 during their draw phase to draw a card. Players may use this ability as many times as they choose. What? Oh yeah, that is the card. If you have like a bunch of mana available, just start filling your hand up with stuff. I like the design of this card. I think it's really cool. Okay, Bryce says, how about that Otter Eon Frolicker? Eon Frolicker. It is an otter. Okay, it's a blue 2 generic, 5/5 flyer. When Eon Frolicker enters the battlefield, you may cast it. Oh, sorry, if you cast it, target opponent takes an extra turn after this one. Until your next turn, you and Planeswalkers you control gain protection from that player. In exchange, you can't attack me, but you could do whatever the hell you want with your extra turn. Yeah, let's frolic around here. Let's get a free one from Matt, Master of the Feast. Do they get food tokens? 3 mana, 5/5. At the beginning of your upkeep, each opponent draws a card. Oh my god. And in Commander, it's a little lethal. That's a lot of cards your opponents are getting, and all you got is a 5/5 creature. Frankie Super, a coffee donation. I'd like a sonic sound, please. You got it. And this donation is going to go straight to the Big Apple Gate. Primal Vigor. It is a green for generic enchantment. If one or more tokens would be put onto the battlefield, twice of that many tokens are put onto the battlefield instead. If one or more counters would be placed on a creature, twice that many counters are placed on the creature instead. This doesn't explicitly help other people, but it could. I see where you're getting at, if one or more tokens. But if your opponent's not playing a token deck, then it's useless. I'm disqualifying this. Little too not clear. It's going to help somebody. Okay, King Ginger here, really excited about the Rights of Flourishing. Rights of Flourishing, green 2 generic enchantment. At the beginning of each player's draw step, that player draws an additional card. Each player may play additional lands on each of their turns. I get the sense there's 2 great powers in Commander. The first great power, putting extra lands into play per turn. The second great power, drawing cards. And nothing else matters. You want to keep the gas flowing, and you want to keep your mana going. We did Rainbow Veil. It's an amazing... Yeah, it is amazing. We'll go with Christopher B's Intellectual Offering. What is this? Blue 4 generic. Instant. Choose an opponent. You and that player each draw 3 cards. Choose an opponent. We get to do this twice. Untap all non-land permanents you control and all non-land permanents that player controls. Ooh, instant speed. Surprise blockers. David Monroy. I love this card. This card. The Gold Knight Castigator. Gold Knight. Gold Knight. We have a red 2 generic 4/9. It's a very unusual stats. For a flying haster, if a source would deal damage to you, it deals double that damage to you instead. But why? If a source would deal damage to Gold Knight Castigator, it deals double that damage to Gold Knight Castigator instead. This does help your... Okay, this does help your opponents by helping them kill you. This is unhinged and wild. But why? Flying haste? Like, it's not even that strong. It doesn't even have double strike or anything like that. What a wild card. Okay. Next super chat, we got the Wise Man Robert Boydston. With Howling Mine, which we done, but we did not do Helm of Awakening. Helm of Awakening is a 2 mana artifact. All spells cost 1 generic mana less to pay. You got a deal, all right? You got a 2 for 1. Sorry, not a 2 for 1. It's a discount. All spells, 1 generic mana off. That's like taking a 0. So it used to be $100, now it's $10. Used to be $10, now it's $1. If only we got deals like that in the real world. Used to be $10,000, now it's just $1,000. Noted, my next commander deck will be only land ramp and card draw. I'm sure everyone's commander deck is already very close to that as it is. David Sampson with the Bazaar Trader. Bazaar Trader. But it is a bizarre card. Oh, and which one? Okay, we'll go with the actual Bazaar Trader. 2 mana, 1/1. Tap. Target player gains control of target artifact, creature, or land you control. What is mine is also yours. Make yourself at home. Next super chat. From the Wise Man again. Soldevi Sentry. We got the Soldevi Sentry, 1 mana artifact. This reminds me of... Who does this remind me of? I can't tell if this is Silver Surfer or something. No, I can't. Like, am I thinking Silver Surfer? Am I thinking the T-1000? It's like a bad... but it looks like a bad cosplay of something. Okay, it's a 1/1 with pay 1 regenerate. Target opponent may draw a card. Oh my god! Again, may draw a card. They knew that they could make your opponent deck themselves even back then. With enough mana, there is a chance. There's got to be some card that forces them to draw the cards other than forced fruition. There's got to be something. But yeah, this is another card that can help everybody. Need some cards? All right, I'll regenerate my stupid T1000. It's not as strong as a T1000, that's for sure. But the cosplayed T1000 is definitely a 1/1. Ooh, I don't think we did Forbidden Orchard yet. At 1 mana of any color. Oh no, we did do Forbidden Orchard. Yeah, it's just the spirit. I thought it was a different orchard. Tony the Pokemon guy. Greener Pastures. We got a green 2 generic enchantment. During each player's upkeep, if that player controls more lands than any other, the player puts a sapling token into play under his or her control. Treat this token as a 1/1 green creature. If that player controls more lands than any other. You get something for being ahead? During each player's upkeep, if they control more lands than any other, we get a token. So if you are down on lands, you suck. It's not clear this is gonna help people, to be honest. This is the rich get richer in this one. Okay, we got John around here. What do we got? What do you got for us, John? The bold weir heavyweights. Bold weir heavy. What do we got over here? It's a 4 mana 8/8 with trample. Comes into play. Each opponent may search their library for a creature card and put it into play. Oh my goodness! Then each player who searched their library shuffles it. This card's broken the other way around. This is worse than Hypergenesis, because they look through their deck for exactly what they need to deal with the damn boulder heavyweights. It danger. That's right. It reverse danger. Inverted danger. Ryan C with the Horn of Greed. Three mana artifact. Whenever a player plays a land, that player draws a card. I like it. I like it a lot. Again, combining the two greatest forces of Commander. Card draw and landfall. Okay, Alpha Nerd. You've got Ian... did we do Ian Frolicker? I think we did Ian Frolicker. Yeah, we did. You got sniped. I think you've been around here for a little while. So we give it to... who are we going to give it to? Steven with Dream Halls. We got blue 3 generic enchantment. Rather than pay the mana cost for a spell, its controller may discard a card, and that shares a color with that spell. Everyone gets free spells, all right? At the low cost of just discarding something that has the same color as that, right? It's just discard a card that shares a color. I discard this 1 mana green card, this elf, and put this gigantic elf titan onto the battlefield. Or primeval titan. And then get called out by your fellow friends for cheating. What kind of super chat is this? The Big Applegate, Primal Vigor. It's like... I don't understand this. It has a different color on my back end. The Big Applegate with a Primal Vigor. Gives your opponents doubling season. Really? Okay, we have a green 4 generic enchantment. If one or more tokens will be put onto the battlefield twice, that many of those tokens are put on the battlefield instead. If one or more counters... Well, we just went over this one, right? We went over... I, like, disqualified this thing last... who knows how long ago. Sorry, it does not strictly help the opponents, especially if they don't have tokens in their deck. So let's give it to Lloyd. Welcome, Lloyd, with the Glutch, the Bestower. Glunch? Or is it Glunch? Sorry, I thought it was... It's a jellyfish. It looks like it's flying. We have a blue-green 1 generic 0/5 jellyfish flying. At the beginning of your end step, choose a player. They put 2 +1/+1 counters on a creature they control and choose a second player to draw a card. Then choose a third player to create 2 treasure tokens. You're Santa Claus, effectively. Just put a little Santa Claus hat on this damn thing. Okay, let's go with... Also gives you doubling season, though. Didn't this get... Yeah, we disqualified this thing already. But to be honest, some people super chat like 30 minutes ago, and I'm just getting around to them now. It's just, that's just how it is sometimes. Okay, some 124C with Eureka. Okay, it's another show and tell like card. Green, green, 2 generic. Or no, is this the original Hypergenesis? Starting with you, each player may put a permanent card from their hand onto the battlefield. Repeat the process until there's nothing, unless you put everything back onto the battlefield. Spew as many things as you want. It's gonna be it's not gonna be a battle of man anymore. It's a battle of the best. Okay, next we'll. Wusty says donate or pursued whale. I didn't see you donate anything. Okay, pursued whale. Let's look at... Oh, donate as in the card. Right. Okay, well, let's look at pursued whale anyway. It's a sperm whale, right? For some reason, I have in my head the whale with the big forehead means it's a sperm whale. Blue, blue, 5 generic for an 8/8 whale. When pursued whale enters the battlefield, each opponent creates a 1/1 red pirate creature token. With this, creature can't block, and creatures you control attack each combat if able. Does that really help them? Spells your opponents cast that target pursued whale cost 3 more to cast. You are helping them kill the whale. Okay, there is that. There's a lot of people in chat. There's also a lot of new people in chat, which is nice to see. The growth of Coffee and MTG. All right, we got Josh Karen, the noble benefactor. If taken, it is not. It's okay. You're good. We got a blue 2 generic 2/2 smug jerk. We got Scrooge or something. If noble benefactor is put into any graveyard from play, each player may search their library for any one card and put that card into their hand. Each player who shuffles their library shuffles it afterwards. Hold on. Each player may search their library for any one card put into their hand. Oh, it's not Scrooge. It's Santa. I guess this is Santa Claus without the actual outfit on. Mr. Dead Marshmallows. I never heard of a live marshmallow, to be honest. Pandemonium. Helps everyone at the table, does it? We have a 4 mana. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield, that creature's controller may have it deal damage equal to its power to target creature or player of their choice. Imagine this card, and then you play Eureka, and everyone just spews their hand and snipes damage all over the place. It's complete hell out there. Absolute hell. Let's look at next. Let's look at Platonic Liquid Super Chat. What do you got here? Shah of Nar Isle. Sad it can't be your commander. It is an Efreet, which is a bad genie, from what I hear. And it looks like they're going to blow up. Okay, we have a 6/6 Trampler with Echo of 0. Oh, that's going to be hard to pay. When Shah of Nar Isle's Echo cost is paid, each opponent may drop to 3 cards. It says to recall for everybody. You would want to bring this out over and over and over again? That's wild. Arthur with confusion in the ranks. What, people don't know if they're the general or the soldier? We have a red 3 generic enchantment. Whenever an artifact, creature, or enchantment comes into play, its controller chooses target permanent another player controls that shares a card type it. Do a switcheroo! How does this help? Okay, in theory, this could help somebody. If you put something good onto the battlefield and then give it to somebody else. In theory. Hold on, would that combo with some of this stuff? Confusion in the ranks. Could you then confusion in the ranks and play Shah of Nar Isle? I think you could. Oh no, but then they wouldn't pay the Echo. I'm just wondering if if a creature triggers, this goes on the stack. You give, like, let's say it's one of those cards where it has a trigger, help your opponent. Does it get, like, if you give it to somebody and then the trigger resolves, is it considered the owner? Like, are you now considered an opponent? I think. I'm not sure. Does anyone know what I'm talking about? Has knowledge pool been said yet? It has now. Works with that card that they can't win and you can't lose the game. That I understand. I'm just wondering if it works with triggers. Okay, 6-man artifact with imprint. There's a battlefield. Each player exiles the top card, top 3 cards of their library. And whenever a player casts a spell from their hand, they exile it. This is like just a card that just messes up with the game. If the player does, they may cast another non-land card, exile with knowledge pool without paying that card's mana cost. So you could pay something for cheap and get something really big. Just make sure you get something cool from the knowledge pool before all this stuff is gone. Because eventually you're going to have to now pay like 6 mana for like a 1/1 dork. Not a lot of good knowledge in that knowledge pool. Well, we should get to another super chat. We got Alpha Nerd. You started the show, you're going to be at the end of the show. Hired Giant. What is this, Hired Goons? Okay, we got a red 3 generic 4/4. Comes into play. Each other player may search their library for a land card and put it directly onto the battlefield. Yeah, that does not feel like a very red thing to do, to be honest. Doesn't feel red at all. All right, we're going to get through them super chats. We got Tom Squires with Xancha. Sleeper Agent. All right, Xancha Sleeper Agent. We have a 3-mana 5/5 Phyrexian minion. Xancha Sleeper Agent enters the battlefield under your control of an opponent of your choice. Oh, it's not even going to you. That is a weird commander. Attacks each combat if able and can't attack its owner or planeswalkers its owner's control. So it does still help your opponent because it's going to attack somebody else, and it's a completely free creature. Pay 3. Xancha's control loses 2 life, and you draw a card. Any player may activate this ability. That does not help them! No way! There's a downside. It's a curse! It is a sleeper agent. Okay, did not help opponent. Oh, does it help opponents? I guess it helps other opponents kill that one person, sort of. I guess I can sort of say this counts. It's a little muddy though, you know. It's a little unclear. Okay, next super chat we got from the wise man again. We got with Prosperity. Prosperity, pay a blue X. Each player draws X cards. All right? This is... I want to call it Stroke of Genius. Brain Geyser. Brain Geyser for everybody. And it costs 1 blue less. We got Sir Stanley. Have some more coffee. I really appreciate it. I love the coffee. Which means we are donating your super chats to somebody, to the freebie section. Okay, I'm just going to take it blindly. I'm not looking. Who do we got? Nika said you couldn't. That is not a card. Okay, how about this? Magus of the Vineyard from Toads. It was random, people. It was random. It's a green 1/1 human wizard. At the beginning of each player's pre-combat main phase, add double green to that player's mana pool. Now that is helping somebody. That is huge ramp. It helps you too. It's like, this is like a super ramper, but it can backfire on you. Because you are helping other people anyway. This was played in Mirage Standard back in the day. What? Mirage Stand? I have no idea how long ago we're talking. That you must be very far behind the show. We have no Mirage cards here. This is certainly not a Mirage card. Okay, next super chat we've got from Josh Karen. Thank you very much for your super chat. I'll give you this super chat. My group hug commander is Kynios and Tiro of Melites. We did that one. Great commander. Okay, so we have to donate this thing. To Kevin. How about Cruel Entertainment? Very cruel. Okay, we have a blank 6 generic sorcery. Choose target player, another target player. The first player controls the second player during the second player's next turn, and the second player controls the first player during the first player's next turn. Instructions, very unclear. Not even sure how this helps. We're going to help the opponent play our deck, and we're also going to help the other player play their deck. The first player, target player, actually, no, oh, so it doesn't have to be you. It can be 2 other people. So you just choose 2 random people and they screw with their own cards. I don't think this helps, to be honest. Yeah, it does not help. Messes the game up for no reason. That's epic. Screw over 2 opponents in Commander. Yeah. They're not obviously not going to help. I mean, they could collude to just do like the best that they can for each other, but it could also backfire. Okay, just for good measure, I'm going to donate this last one to Algot. Princess Twilight Sparkle. Was that the pony? We have a blue-white 2/2 flyer. Other unicorns, horsies, Pegasus ponies, and unicorns you control get +1/+1. And for Wooburg, if you control Applejack, Fluttershy, Pinkie Pie, Rainbow Dash, and Rarity, every pony wins the game? I don't even understand what this means. What does that mean, every pony? Who are the ponies? And the creatures can't win the game? Or does everyone... Or is it just like a way of saying everybody wins the game? So it's a draw. I'm assuming it just says everybody wins the game. We all ponies around here. Okay. I got something to share. I got something in the mail. But believe it or not, I have a P.O. box. Which some people don't, most people I don't even think know about. So I got something from Snuffleupafish, who is a fantastic viewer, very long time viewer of the channel. I got some mugs actually in the mail. I got a Lord of Atlantis coffee mug. Definitely gonna use this to drink some tea as well. It's got a black inside. We got Lord of, but then we got I'm not much of a drinker. I got this epic beer mug as well with Lord of Atlantis on it. Actually, it looks quite clean on here. I like actually how dark it is. It reminds me of Beta. So I've got like a Beta beer mug from Snuffleupafish. It goes deep. Any drinkers out there? I don't really drink alcohol. I think it all tastes all bizarre. If anyone has some alternate uses for a beer mug, let me know. I mean, I could use it still for a tea. I like it's big. It's nice and big and chunky. It's good stuff. All right, and with that is it for Coffee and MTG today. Thank you very much. And you want to be part of the show, you got to be here Monday to Friday, 11 o'clock a.m. Central Standard Time. I should also say, if you send me like a big package in the mail, please DM me so I look at my P.O. box a little bit more frequently. But you don't have to warn me to come to the show, because that's Monday to Friday, 11 o'clock a.m. Central Standard Time. Thanks to everyone who supports the show, either a patron on Patreon, a member on YouTube, or you super chat to contribute and be part of the show. But most important, we got to thank everyone who's here today. Am I still getting super chats? What's going on here? Hikawen! Okay, I give you this last one. Okay, we got one more super chat. Descent into Avernus. I can't find this. Descent into Avernus? Wondering if this count I'll just look up Avernus. Avernus. Is it? Oh, here. Oh, ascend. No, there is a descent. Oh, I don't know why I couldn't find it. We have a red 2 generic enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, put 2 descent counters on descent into Avernus. Then each player creates X treasure tokens, and descent into Avernus deals X damage to each player, where X is the number of descent counters on descent into Avernus. It helps, but it comes at a cost. But I'll still count it. So thank you very much, everyone who shows up today, like Toads, Lord, Trevor, Christopher B, Dawson. We got Vil, Jess, Suddenly Boop. Who else is here today? We have everyone. We got Iris, we got Burning, we got Matt, Tommy Siddons, Tom Squires, Mr. Deadhead, Majra, because you guys are the show. So as usual, keep brewing them coffees, and we'll keep brewing up the magic. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you at the next cup.